everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from gloomy Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, Dan, there is a movement afoot in the LDS Church, and we're going to talk about it.
Oh, it's afoot.
It has to do with Mormon youth and their worthiness interviews, and there's been some developments on the whole thing.
The young people.
Yeah.
The old people like to talk to the young people about their dirty stuff.
Right. Like it's any of their business.
Oh, but it's sexy, though.
But they make it their business. I don't know that it is.
No, I mean, you know, it depends on the kid.
Dan, that bothered me.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, here's something that's been bothering me, Dan. Hair on my face.
Facial
Dan.
hair. Okay.
What is going on? Why do I have hair on my face?
God decided that you needed it.
Oh boy,
that is a fact.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You know, those of you watching us on our YouTube channel will note that neither you nor I, Frank, are currently very well shaven.
No.
Neither of us employed our Harry's razors this morning.
But there is yeah, but there's a solution to this problem, Dan.
Yeah.
And it's called harrys.com.
It is called that. This is a subscription-based clean face service. They don't clean your face.
You mean razors, Dan.
I mean razors.
Razors for shaving your face.
Yeah.
Face shaven razors.
Yeah, face shaven razors, baby. Look, okay. We've hit you with the Harrys for a while now. You guys all know it, but so many of you haven't tried it yet. And it's so easy. This is so easy. You get free stuff to try it out. You get, let me get through this. You get the weighted ergonomic handle. You get the 5-blade razor with the lubricating strip and the trimming blade. So you get all of that stuff. You get the shave gel that we love so much. You get the travel blade cover. You get all of that, and it's free. You just pay for the shipping because your friends here at Thank God I'm Atheist hooked you up.
Yeah. All you have to do is go to harrys.com.
That's HARRYS.
Right.
.com. Don't put in an apostrophe. it belongs there, but don't put it in for the URL.
Right. Slash
TGIA.
There you go.
And then we get credit, and Harry's loves us more. And then you guys get free stuff, and you get signed up for a service that's great. When we do it, when we actually do use their razors, which we do, just not this morning because we're lazy bums. We end up with a smooth face shave,
comfortable shave, Dan,
and it's close.
That's what's amazing to me.
Yeah,
is the comfort level. I did not think that my store-bought razor, which I was spending an ungodly fortune on,
right,
could have been matched,
could have been
improved upon,
right,
by a monthly service.
Look, if you think you're going in style because you're traveling because you're traveling at Mach 3, if you think that
nobody travels at Mach 3,
if you think
the Concorde is dead and it only traveled at Mach 2,
those new F-22s can travel at Mach 3.
Okay, well that's fine.
All I'm saying is, if you Mach 3, 3's okay. A Quattro, 4's okay. How about 5 blades? Biatch. Try that shit out. Anyway, just make sure you go to harrys.com/TGIA to redeem your offer. Let them know we sent you, and that'll help support the show.
Absolutely.
Do it.
All right. Well, all right, Dan.
Yeah.
I have the story. Horrifying story, Dan.
You better have a story.
Horrifying story of Mick, something that Mick Mulvaney,
our good friend.
If you don't know the name,
I don't,
which you may not, probably don't. No. Probably most of our listeners have never heard the name. However, he is an official in the Trump administration.
Oh,
he is the director of the Office of Management and Budget.
Okay,
right. So kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. He was at the a big State Department meeting. They have these ministerials on international religious freedom. It's a thing that they have, this ministerial on religious freedom. Anyway, he spoke at that, and he basically suggested that the Trump administration would end the practice of punishing African countries for laws that criminalize homosexuality.
Right.
But this is what he said.
Okay.
Right? Here's his little misleading statement. It says, our U.S. taxpayer dollars are used to discourage Christian values in other democratic countries. We know that you have a law against abortion. Oh, he says that, this is what we do. We go to sub-Saharan Africa and we say, we know that you have a law against abortion. But if you enforce that law, you're not going to get any of our money. We know that you have a law against gay marriage. But if you enforce that law, we're not going to give you any money. This is a different type of religious persecution that I never expected to see. Right? Now, this, of course, is disingenuous at best.
Right.
Because, of course, what the Obama administration did was actually put pressure on African countries that actually criminalize just being gay.
Right, homosexuality.
Itself.
There are countries in Africa where you can be executed, I think.
Yes.
For just liking a boy or liking a girl.
Being a little swishy.
Yeah. Right? Lighten those loafers. Death.
Don't stay whichever country we're talking about.
Uganda or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that was the one that got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is, of course, in the same vein as everything that the conservative right is up to right now.
Yeah.
They're trying to establish and defend the religious. I'm sorry. They're trying to defend their bigotries and their mistreatment of other human beings in terms of religious freedom.
Right.
And
that's what they do.
Right. They feel like that being dicks to gay people is part of what they believe as Christians. That
it's what Jesus told them to do. And
there's that little the lesser read part of the Sermon on the Mount,
right,
where it's blessed be the homo kickers,
right,
right,
the fag bashers,
blessed
be they.
Yeah,
for they shall inherit the South.
Yeah. Oh, the beautiful South. It's yours. You know what, guys? Here's the deal. We don't want the South.
No.
You can keep it.
They want out. We want to let them go. Why can't we make this happen?
It seems like there's got to be a solution to this problem.
You can have Arizona. We'll give up fucking Louisiana. We love New Orleans, but if we'll get a passport and we'll come. I mean, it'll be ruined because it'll be you guys. But take it all.
Yeah, anything that's good in the South will be ruined.
Georgia, Florida.
But you know what? If that's what it takes.
Yeah. The United States of Jesus down there.
Oh, good God, damn.
Have all the rules that you want.
No, that is absolutely wrong. It is unacceptable. We cannot shirk our responsibilities to try to promote human rights and dignity and equality for all, even amongst people who really don't want it.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I'm going to talk to us about someone from the South, one Jefferson Beauregard Sessions.
Oh yeah.
Since we're on this topic, I'll just slide over to the fact that our listeners will be keenly aware of the fact that that Brother Sessions, our Attorney General of these United States, has just established a new task force.
I love a good task force.
Oh, everybody loves a good task force.
I also like a good blue ribbon panel.
Ooh.
Or blue ribbon commission. What's it called?
A committee.
Committee. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves a good blue ribbon. Yeah, this is a task force for religious liberty. Lest anyone not, if you haven't listened to our show before, if you're new, first, hello,
Welcome.
and second, religious liberty, when a politician says it, or when someone who's Christian says it, means preserving Christian privilege and the right to discriminate. Those are the two things that those words encapsulate. That's all they mean in the whole world. They talk about other things, but all they really mean is Christian privilege and the right to discriminate against yucky poo-poo gays.
Yeah.
So that's basically all they're talking about. But yes, our tax dollars are now going to be going to making sure that Americans privilege Christianity. I mean, are allowed to hate gays and control women's bodies.
It's just the right thing, Dan.
And that's literally what it is. I mean, basically, this is about bacon cakes and not
Which women are supposed to do.
Which women are supposed to do, but
Instead of getting abortions.
But even if a man does it, he doesn't have to do it for queers.
Right.
And making sure that people don't have to help their employees get contraception.
Right. Good Lord.
That's what religious liberty means. It does not mean, by the way, and Jeff Sessions would probably tell you this if you asked him. Does it mean the right for? Because he talked about the right for Americans to practice their religion in the public square.
Oh.
Does he mean Satanists?
Oh, no.
No.
No, because those aren't really people, and that's not really religion.
And also, yeah. I mean, the only real religion is Christianity.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Right. Right, of course.
Yeah.
Nobody wants fake religion.
Wiccans,
All that crap,
smudging their sage or whatever. That's just silliness.
Right.
But, believing that Jesus put animals on a boat, that's serious religion.
That's good stuff, Dan.
That's where the juice is, baby.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Thank God they're still pushing for it.
Yeah. Somebody, finally, we have some champions of truth and justice in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Oh,
Finally.
Thank God they got there, Dan. And that Christianity is safe.
Right.
Now.
Right.
Under their watch.
Because that tiny minority called Christianity has been dwindling. Has been languishing in terror.
I know.
because their liberty keeps going away in the form of other people getting rights.
Oh, it's just the worst, Dan.
It's the worst.
Oh, no. All right, Dan. I'm going to tell a little story about the process of becoming a saint.
Ooh.
A Catholic saint.
Canonization?
Yes.
If you will?
There's it's a little bit of a process, Dan.
Sure.
And right now, there are people who are supporting. I think this is such an interesting thing. There are movements that form up around a figure, a historic figure, to promote that person as a saint.
Right.
And it's really important to these people who are promoting it, because it usually means that a member of their community, somebody that they connect to, is being canonized.
Right.
And given this extra special place in sort of the Catholic, what would you call it?
The pantheon.
The pantheon of all these holy figures.
They're basically demigods, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the role that they fill, that sort of the Roman gods. When you got rid of the Roman gods, you needed figures who could be intermediaries on these issues, is your car safe to drive? Right.
St. Christopher is a much better person to go to. Look, if you go to God for everything, he may be all-knowing and all-powerful, and so clearly capable of handling everybody's requests at all times.
But he's kind of a jack of all trades, right?
And
he's not specialized.
And somehow he's magically busy. Like, he can do everything,
It's not easy to God.
but he is busy.
Not easy.
So go to
So many people. And there's just more and more people every year.
get some, you know,
Right.
he's
Like-
been delegating.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's smart. It's a good system. Anyway, here in the United States, there are a few groups that are coalescing around a group of 5 African Americans.
Black folk, are they allowed to be gay? Wow. Are they allowed to be saints is what I was trying to say.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Okay, fine.
There actually have been a number of saints of African descent. However, there has never been a Black American that's been canonized. So this is actually a really big deal. And if you're not familiar with the steps in that little path toward canonization,
It's
right?
just a jump to the left and then a step to the right.
So the first thing that has to happen is a diocesan tribunal must confirm that they lived lives of, quote, heroic virtue.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. So
now,
usually you wait 100 years so that nobody can actually dispute it.
right.
So-
give a little gap.
So that nobody's
time.
around that actually knew the jackass. Because,
Right.
yeah.
The legend now
Right.
is bigger than the man ever was.
Or woman.
Or
sure.
woman.
Yeah.
So then there's the second level, veneration.
Yeah.
So this means that they have been proclaimed heroic, heroic in virtue, right? By the Congregation for the Causes of Saints with the approval of the Pope. So so that first level is just kind of a local little thingy. Now the same proclamation, right? This heroic virtue thing has been approved by the Pope. So that's the second level. The third level is beatification. And it generally requires documentation of one miracle.
Right.
Okay.
I remember. Do you remember back in the 70s or 80s? I don't remember when it was. Do you remember the character of Father Guido Sarducci? This was an SNL character.
Oh yeah.
And he was an American comedian who would do this Italian like cardinal, or maybe he was a like a archbishop or something.
Sure. Okay.
He was complaining on one sketch about he's smoking a cigarette and complaining about like there was a movement to get somebody sainted in America, and he's like, this person, she only got like 2 miracles. We got Italians who got 40, 50 miracles to their name, but
Right.
she got 2 miracles, and then she's going to be canonized. It's not fair.
Right. So, beatification, one miracle, except in the case of being a martyr.
Oh, okay.
And I think you can skip that whole miracle.
You can skip a miracle if you're a martyr?
Skip a miracle, yeah. And then canonization, just like you said, is 2 miracles. That's the fourth level. Takes decades, maybe even centuries. But these five guys, for five folk, Pierre Toussaint, who passed away in 1853. He was a former slave who parlayed his connections as a hairdresser to prominent New Yorkers into a career of charity.
Oh, okay.
Good for him.
Great.
Holy cow. That's amazing. Henriette DeLille passed away in 1862. She was a mixed-race woman who founded Sisters of the Holy Family, a religious order based in New Orleans. We have Mary Elizabeth Lang. Boy, that's a Catholic name. Passed away in 1882. She founded the Oblate Sisters of Providence in Baltimore. Augustus Tolton, 1879. He was America's first black Catholic priest, and he had to train in Rome because no U.S. seminary would take him.
Huh.
Interesting figure. I actually kind of want to know a little bit more about that guy. And then Julia Greeley, died in 1918. A former slave who became known as Denver's Angel of Charity for her support of poor families. Anyway, they all sound like great folk.
Nice people.
You know, they probably deserve some recognition.
Yeah.
I don't know about this old miracle thing.
They're not getting it from U.S. history books. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, here's these 5 characters who were, I mean...
Probably amazing people.
Yeah, exactly.
But...
and I've never heard their names before.
Yeah.
There you go.
A little too white for us to have learned about in U.S. history, or a little too black, I mean.
Yeah, we only get some of just sort of those...
You get
the big ones.
You get
the big 3, right?
3, yeah. Yeah,
there's
you basically get 3 black folks, a limit to 3 black folks in any history text in the United States. So you can have your Rosa Parks,
absolutely.
You can have George Washington Carver,
Peanuts,
and you can have, and we have confirmed he is not currently alive, in spite of what Donald Trump says. You can have your Frederick Douglass. Did you not hear about that?
No.
Donald Trump, at one point, what did he say? He said something like, he said he's doing an amazing job.
Oh, yeah.
Frederick Douglass. Which, for...
Great guy.
Yeah.
He's the best guy.
He's really
doing great work out there.
Really, really improving all the time. Better and better. Yeah.
It's amazing. All right.
Well, it's good to hear about these guys.
Yeah, nice that somebody's getting around to it.
Yeah. I'm going to take us... Now, you'll recall, I think we reported 6 months ago? I don't know. I have no sense of time. We reported that an Air Force base had a display to emit the fallen soldier or whatever, and it had a table set with a Bible on it. As part of
I don't remember this at all.
Don't you?
Not at all.
Okay.
That doesn't even ring a bell.
Okay. Well, it was dedicated to prisoners of war and those missing in action or something, or it was the missing man table. Now the group, what's the military group? The Military Religion Freedom Foundation.
Okay.
Raised some concerns about this to the Air Force Base's CO.
Yeah.
Just saying, this is actually not appropriate. There are lots of people of different faiths and no faiths in our armed forces, and it's probably illegal to have this here because you're a government agency.
And they told him to fuck off.
Nope. Colonel Stacy Hooser agreed and said, you know what, we'll just replace the Bible with a sort of blank book of all faiths or no faith. It was just a book.
Just a book. Nice.
Because apparently you can't have a set table without a book. We know that much for sure.
So you get to project onto that book whatever you
want. Right. So that change was made. And Hammond Mehta caught an interesting thing in the RNS article about this.
Okay.
Which was that the Christian Family Research Council, their senior fellow for regulatory affairs named Chris Grasick,
okay,
had this to say. Just thought this was a bad idea. I mean, It doesn't surprise you that he thought that this was a bad idea, but here's how Chris decided to say this. The commander made a big boo-boo. You really?
That's good press release talk.
You're going to use the word boo-boo? The commander made a big boo-boo when she substituted another book. Creating the interfaith book could be seen as violating the First Amendment by demonstrating government bias in favoring one kind of religious content over another and establishing a preferred religion, or in this case, many religions.
I prefer the many religions.
So having a Bible there does not establish a preferred religion. But having something that's meant to indicate all religions
right,
is establishing a preferred religion. And that preferred religion is all of them.
Right. All are welcome here, including none of them, including this just being a book with nothing in it.
This is unfairly privileging everybody. We are literally...
What is wrong with these? Like this?
they are so used to like twisting their brains into pretzels to try and make their logic work.
Yeah.
That they've literally their logic is now coming out of their ass directly.
Unreal.
That is impressive crap thinking. That is impressively bad thinking on their part. I don't even know. I don't know how you get to that.
Right.
And like let it come out of your mouth.
Right.
And you're okay with it.
Well, you're used to lots of other crap in your
Yeah.
mouth, so.
Man. I just thought that was amazing. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's some special shit, Dan.
It's really nice. It's really nice. I mean, it's good to know that they switched out the book though.
Yeah, I think that, and you know what? Like, you kind of make fun of the fact that it's like, well, why do you need a book at all?
Yeah.
Right. And I agree with you, but I think there's something nice about a symbol that is universal, that everybody can project onto as well.
So throw it on an iPhone then.
Yeah, why not?
That's the real thing.
Yeah, everybody loves an iPhone. Just have an iPhone on the table, an iPad, not really. But here's the deal,
if
though.
the Christians
it
complain,
needs to be a generic cell phone.
Oh yeah,
because then you're
true.
just going to start this other thing.
Yeah. It's got to be one of those like Chinese made tablets that doesn't even have a brand.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
Yeah.
An update from Denmark.
Oh,
We've been following this story.
Yeah.
Denmark is one of the countries in Europe right now that's really struggling to figure out an appropriate response to the large number of Muslim immigrants that and refugees who've moved into their country, who they've welcomed, right? With
ish.
Well, they welcomed them. They
allowed them in.
They allowed them in. Set up, some social services and get their kids into education, blah, 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 schools and
Danish language classes.
And then they start to do a little bit of overreach and whatnot. We've talked about that.
Yeah. Where
they're like forcing the kids to take Danish indoctrination classes.
Right.
But
these butter cookies are the only kind of cookies. Don't you eat no Muslim cookies.
Is that a date? Excuse me.
Do you have a fig? Put that down.
Couscous? No. Wrong.
You're going to eat this stew and you're going to like it. I don't know what Danish
carve
people...
up a potato for you.
What do Danes eat? I have no idea. Let's move on.
All right. Well, a Danish law has gone into effect that bans face veils in public.
Okay. Yes.
And because of that, there has been an official protest this last week that happened in two different Danish cities. Can
you please tell me the names of those cities?
Copenhagen and Aarhus.
Oh, I was hoping they'd be harder to pronounce.
Nope.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan, though. Even though Aarhus, which apparently is Denmark's second largest city, and you'd never have heard of it.
No.
Anywho, hundreds of Muslims and non-Muslims attended the Copenhagen protest. A lot of the protesters wore the niqabs, which is it covers everything. It's kind of a scarf setup that covers everything except the eyes.
Right. It's a ninja mask.
Yeah. Some even wore full-length burqas, which cover the eyes with a mesh screen. And a lot of Muslim women who actually don't wear the full face veil also participated in the protest. The police looked the other way during the protest. They did not enforce the law. They exempted the protest from the ban.
Sure.
And but outside of the protest, first-time offenders, first-time violators of this new law face a fine of about $150.
Whoa.
Repeat offenses could lead up to fines up to about $1,500, plus a jail sentence of up to 6 months.
Yikes.
It's basically, I mean, the police also are allowed to just tell women to remove their face veils, or leave public areas. And most likely they won't actually, according to officials, they most likely will not actually jail people.
Unless they get uppity.
Right. They'll probably just find them and send them home.
Yeah.
This is, it's really, really quite bizarre because in Denmark, people are putting on Muslim headwear to protest.
Yeah.
And in places like Iran, women are taking
them off.
Yeah. Being arrested and disappearing for protesting by taking them off. And it's this really crazy thing.
For just a minute, it sounded like you were saying that they take the mask off and suddenly they disappear.
Poof.
It's a great trick.
Yeah.
David Copperfield had that one.
That's why you have to wear it.
That's why.
It's
so you exist?
Yeah, well, it's like there's a Calvino novel, the non-existent night, I think. I don't know what the translation into English is actually, but it's about a knight in Charlemagne's army who doesn't really exist.
Ooh.
There's nothing in the armor.
In the armor.
Ooh. Yeah, but no, it's not that, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a sick world.
Yeah, it's not
because
okay.
Here's the deal. I don't think here's the rough part for me as like an American liberal, right? Because my sense of this is a tough one. There's a lot of people, especially in the atheist community, who feel like we don't do enough to call out these bad practices for being bad practices. These teachings that force women to cover themselves and basically remove themselves from society and whatnot, right? And so I often find myself in kind of this weird space where I'm like, yeah, we should be denouncing that. We should be saying that, but not through law.
Yeah.
Right.
Tricky.
Because you either push people into the fringes, as the Danes are doing, right?
Right.
Through regulating what women wear in public.
Here's what I would like to see.
I don't know about that.
What I have never seen, because the justification for this is that if someone walks around with their face covered, they could theoretically,
be committing crimes,
commit crimes or violence or
what
whatever.
What are they doing in there, Dan?
Who knows? I don't even, they're wearing big baggy clothes.
Yeah.
They could have a ham that they stole from the market.
Probably not a ham.
You'd be surprised.
Really? Okay.
And how would anybody
well, that's the last
identify
thing you
them?
would expect that woman to be stealing.
Right.
Because
exactly.
This is actually just a thief masquerading as a Muslim woman.
So what I'd like to see...
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. What I'd like to see is any form of data showing that this is true, that this claim correlates to reality in some way.
Yeah. Well, also, why not just wait for somebody to commit a crime?
And then tell them that they have to take the mask off?
No. And then catch them after you see them stealing a ham and whisking and
but that's the
tucking
problem.
it away.
Let's say that we go to the videotape and we see, it was her, but we can't identify her because she's wearing the mask.
Oh, no.
This is why I walk around in a mask all the time. This, by the way,
I don't know.
Viewers of YouTube, this is not my real face. This is a prosthetic.
Really, really, really good mask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. Is this even a problem?
I think that they're solving a problem that may not exist.
Right.
Because they want to
they're afraid of it.
Because they want to trample on a group of people that they don't understand and that they don't like.
And they're trying to correct their behavior through law.
Right.
And it's not I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not convinced at all.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
How about because why not just look at, call up, where would be a good place you could call up in this world? Saudi Arabia. You call up Saudi Arabia and you say, hey,
Can you call a country?
Yeah. You call them up and you say, what are your facts and figures on men wearing niqabs to commit crimes?
Or women. Women can also commit crimes. Women are good at crime too.
Right.
Yeah. What is
this?
Yeah.
How many people use this cover in order to commit crime?
Right. And who knows?
Just call them up. Ask.
I'm going to. What's the
country code?
What's the number for Saudi Arabia? I'm calling them. Hope they speak English. I'm gonna sort of circle us back to home, but not here in Salt Lake City.
No.
Logan, Utah.
Oh.
Had a speaker come out and talk to a bunch of people recently. Made the news.
Okay.
And
the city of Logan.
No, it wasn't the city of Logan. It was a group in the city of Logan.
Ah.
But one of the organizers of the group was a former was a politician, like a county commissioner or something like that.
Sure. Okay.
Anyway, Ammon Bundy, you'll recall, is one of the sons of that American folk hero Cliven Bundy.
Yeah.
Who first made national headlines because the government wanted him to pay the tiny fee that they charge for people to allow people to graze their cattle on government land, on BLM land, Bureau of Land Management land.
Right. Yeah,
it is a minuscule fee, but Cliven Bundy
too much.
had been refusing to pay it. Hadn't paid it for like 15 or 20 years or something like crazy like that.
Oh, so his bills had kind of
Plus, there are fees and whatever. Anyway, and that resulted in a big standoff, and they got a fucking militia with guns going.
Yeah, it was a thing.
It was a problem, and then they kind of won that battle, which was really odd. The government mishandled everything in that, and the Bundys got away with that shit. And then you'll recall that the Bundys went to Oregon to support some dude who was charged with arson or something, and they fucking took over a then empty government building and had an armed standoff with the government that resulted in one of them dying just a few years ago.
Right.
And they seem to have gotten away with that too. They seem to not have. They are slippery little motherfuckers. This group of again self-styled American heroes.
Right.
So Ammon, they're Mormons. P.S. Everybody. I think that their ranches are in Nevada largely. But anyway, these are Mormon fellas. And Ammon Bundy had a very interesting. Gave a fast. What I wouldn't have given to be there at this little talk he gave. But one of the things that he talked about is that his church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is being infiltrated.
By whom?
Skun-dun-dun.
No.
Oh, yes.
Lizard people.
No. Well, I mean, maybe. Pretty close. Socialists, globalists, and environmentalists are wheedling their way in.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
It's the worst.
Environmentalists?
Yeah. Oh, they're the worst ones. They're the worst ones.
What is the LDS church coming to?
Apparently the
socialists?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He set up environmentalism as a competing theology to the LDS church. He said it's basically a religion and a completely different theology than Christian theology. He said that basically, I know that our church on the lower levels, the mid-levels, has been infiltrated by these same people, but not on the higher levels.
Oh, thank God.
He said, I truly believe those higher levels are honest, good, righteous men who follow the Lord's guidance and inspiration, and I believe that they will guide us through these rough times. But the liberals, they're coming to the Mormons. They're infiltrating.
I'm so worried about this world, Dan.
And they're getting in.
We're all fucked.
He also characterized at least one of the trials that he's in, because there's a lot. His family and he are charged with many different criminal activities because they're fucking criminals.
Right.
But he called the trial what did he call it? A battle of high priests. Because he and his father and his attorney are all high priests of the Mormon Church. Now, don't be too impressed, ladies and gentlemen who don't know the Mormon hierarchy. A high priest, this is the guy. When the way that the Mormon priesthood works is that every man
gets a crazy title.
Gets priest. Yeah. You and I, Frank.
You hold a crazy office.
We're ordained priests.
Yeah.
Of the LDS Church. I never made it past priest.
Right.
But that happened when we were 16.
I was an elder.
You were an elder of the...
At 19.
At 19.
As was, every other young man who, was about to serve a mission.
Yeah, I didn't quite make it to elder status. I only got to be a priest. I do love blowing people's minds who don't understand Mormon priesthood, because I can say, oh, no, I went to seminary and was a priest in the Mormon Church. And everybody's like, what the...
Right.
And all it means nothing.
Right.
But, as you get older and older, if the bozo who's sort of the lay head of your stake, which is the diocese, decides that you're a pillar of your neighborhood, then you'll get to be a high priest, basically.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's essentially right.
Yeah. You may add if you want to.
I don't care to.
No. Anyway, he said that he says he and his dad and his lawyers are high priests, but so are the lead U.S. attorney prosecuting this family, the chief judge in Oregon, and former Nevada Senator Harry Reid.
Oh, dear God.
It's a battle. First of all, how are there only Mormons prosecuting these guys? This all feels very strangely set up.
I don't know.
The prosecutor and the judge and the chief judge are both Mormons, and now they're getting away with everything? It all seems very squirrely.
It's not like, Mormons who break the law in Utah get off scot-free just because they're sitting in front of a Mormon judge.
I know, but in Oregon?
I don't know.
I'm very confused by it all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's confusing. And if you would like to clear up Dan's confusion...
Good luck. You can clear up, this tiny corner of the vast ocean of Dan's confusion.
No!
But yeah, you can do that by writing into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in.
Yep.
Also, why not find us over on Reddit? That's reddit.com/r/TGIAtheist. If you're going to be ridiculous about it. Yes. Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
You're a lover of animals, aren't you?
Oh, I do love animals very much.
Yeah.
You know who else loves animals?
Some crackpot Christian.
The Lord God Almighty. That's
Wait,
who
what?
I'm thinking of.
Oh.
Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and his Father
Oh, I thought you were talking about the woman we're about to listen to.
The woman we're about to listen to has insight, apparently, into what's going on in heaven. This is a prophetess.
Oh, wow.
And she is. We've heard her before. What's her name? Kat something or other. Her name is
Kat Kerr.
Kat Kerr, and we've heard her before. How this crackpot can get like anyone in a room to listen to her.
Well, yeah,
I will never understand. But this is you'll hear it. The crowd's pretty big,
right?
And she is imparting some wisdom.
Well, let's hear what she has to say.
And then I just started talking about God and how much he loved, how much he talked about horses in the Bible. By the way, it's one of his favorite creatures he made. And by the way, he has a unicorn.
That's right.
Father has a unicorn. Jesus has a horse named Lightning. Holy Spirit has one named Thunder. Lightning has fire coming out of his nostrils. He's got a rainbow mane on him. But the Father has a unicorn. And they're mentioned 9 times in the Bible.
That's right.
They are, unless you found a new translation that has removed it. But they are in heaven. God made them. He made a lot of strange creatures that you will get to see up there. Most of you sitting here will probably go for visits. I'm positive about that. Because of the time we're living in. It's time to reveal heaven. Say, I want that. You need to say that. He notices when you say that. He writes it down when you say that.
I want that.
I receive it. I'll be in a meeting, hear someone say something, I'll yell out loud, I receive that! You have not because you... Receiving is asking. Yes, you're asking for it, right?
Kat Kerr. I wouldn't believe in a God who didn't have a unicorn.
Unicorn?
That is the Godhead and their pets. Now, this is a very... I can't.
Right.
I'm sorry. God and pets.
Yeah.
God, you know who God's pets are? Us.
Everything. His whole creation.
Yeah, well, yeah, he made it all.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord, Dan.
And when she starts describing Jesus' pony... with the
lightning,
with the rainbow mane and snorting fire, like this is an 8-year-old girl's vision of heaven.
She's a lunatic and she has followers. She either knows her audience and is willing to, tell them a tall tale.
Yeah.
But or she legitimately believes this. But what is truly more concerning than there being a crazy person who thinks that she met Jesus last month, by the way, Dan, or 2 months ago, and that he was 6 feet tall and very handsome, right? What concerns me is that people follow her.
Oh, they love
Who
it.
are these people?
Who are they?
She's crazy. Fine. Who are these people? How did she find them all?
Yeah.
They sound like lunatics in this clip. The call and response. They're,
I received that.
What is this?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. We're not safe.
This is the part of American, the American Christianity that concerns me the most, is because it's unstructured.
I tell you,
right?
I don't.
And so any old crazy person can come along, say whatever they want, and create this weird, nutty, almost cult-like movement.
It's these moments where we know that the human race has a ways to go. It's just we are that easily duped. We are that easily led.
Good
That is who we are as a species, and we have to come to terms with that. Anyway, we had some folks write into us, and I'm gonna read some of their missives to us.
Please do, Dan.
Amanda wrote in, "Hi Frank, Dan, and Chris," because Chris came
was
in
here last week.
Thank you so much, Chris, by the way, for filling in. What a lovely thing. I'm disappointed that in the two times that Chris has come on, you two have never had a conversation in Italian.
Well,
I think we got to have it. If you guys, if they don't do that next time Chris is on, you have to write into them and bug them about it.
Yeah, okay. It just seems
it's
fruitless.
It's such a beautiful language.
It is beautiful, Dan.
It's the language of passion.
Mm-hmm.
And made up diseases about wind hitting the back of your neck.
Yeah, that's true.
Hi, Frank, Chris, and Dan. I wanted to reply to the last segment of the show, the blogger who thinks women shouldn't be educated because of debt. I was raised this way. I'm 35 now and have a deep sense of shame correlated with debt. And I listened to this show during my third shift factory job. Tangentially, I really want to believe that mommy blogger isn't actually a woman. But then again, my own mother told me dozens of times she was sorry my dad didn't make enough money to get me an education, and it was up to my husband to decide whether or not I should go to school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, boy, the sexism roots run deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This comes to us from Saint Kate,
Yes.
one of our saints.
Yeah. Awesome.
On the show. Hi, Frank and Dan. Even though you abandoned your loyal listeners this week.
Oh, Dan.
Abandoned.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Don't give me shit about that. I need to get a break from this crap every now and then. Do you know? Not you, Frank. I'm saying that.
What crap?
The very disappointing things that we read every week about humanity. That's the crap that we all need breaks from every now and then. And besides, Chris is delightful. Yeah. I'm sure you're getting many emails about this, but there are literally thousands of clinical trials about the use of medicinal marijuana. In fact, at least in Australia, a doctor is not allowed to prescribe anything that has not passed through some strict rules. That is, a doctor in Australia cannot prescribe lavender oil for your sleeping problems. Also, in New South Wales, we have the Center for Medicinal Cannabis Research and Innovation, and she gives a link for that. And it's a government link, apparently.
Nice. All right, cool.
Their whole job is to research and conduct trials. So for my 2 cents worth, the issue of whether it is an effective medicine has been decided.
All right.
Frank.
Okay.
Call it medicine, damn you. You and your reluctance. That's the one thing. That's so interesting because in these United States, we don't ever hear about research about it because it's kind of illegal to do research about it. But it ain't illegal. Like, science is done in other places, apparently. Apparently, they're allowed to do science not in the United States. Isn't that weird?
Huh.
Who would have thought it? St. Kate goes on. She said, for what it's worth, my opinion on the Mormon mommy breastfeeder. You guys talked about a lady breastfeeding in church who suffered the dire consequence of not being able to go and bore herself to tears in the Mormon temple anymore. Is that she did not lose her temple recommend for breastfeeding. She lost it because she refused to follow the authority of her bishop and stake president.
Yes.
It actually blows my mind a little how people like this do not leave the church. Oh,
I think that
she might.
Yeah.
This might be enough.
I bet some shelves broke over this one.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like every story that comes out lately, people get online and talk about how that was the one.
That was it. It may not be this woman.
Right.
It may be like 22 other couples who are like, gee, you know what?
We're done.
This is it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
I don't need to belong to a church that thinks that boobs are Satan's I don't know, dick fluffers. I mean that was basically the problem, right? It was making men horny.
Yeah, you gotta. Women have the responsibility of not making men think about sex.
Right. And
that's their lot in life.
That's their sacred charge.
Dress in such a way. That is what the t-shirts underneath the dresses are all about.
Yeah, because
it ain't sexy.
Boy, you get that glimpse of shoulder. Yeah. Hey, Frank and Dan. This one is from Chandra. By the way, thanks, Saint Kate, for your missive.
Thank you.
Hey, Frank and Dan, Chandra writes, I just wanted to give you all the short of our nightmare adoption story, which started 6 years ago. My husband and I entered into the rosy world of international adoption, specifically Uganda. After 4 years, after a 4-year extremely difficult process, we finally were able to adopt a 4-year-old boy. We have now been home with him for 2 years. Great, huh? Well, 2 weeks after we arrived home from Uganda with our son, we were contacted by the FBI. Long story short, they had been investigating our adoption agency located in Ohio for child trafficking.
Oh, dear God.
Basically, they have discovered that this very Christian organization had been trafficking children from multiple countries. First off, let me mention, to even sign up with this agency, we had to get letters from clergy saying we were solid, devoted Christian home and we would be raising this child strictly Christian. I love this. So I wrote a letter and signed it with a made-up name and a made-up church. I love that.
Wow. All right.
They're fucking lying, straight up lying to these people, and they are not the bad guys in this story. I love that. We are in Arkansas, so I just crossed my fingers that they wouldn't try to contact the fictitious church. Come to find out, after 2 years of working with the FBI, all of the children adopted by our agency from Uganda have been trafficked.
Oh.
All in the name of Jesus.
Oh.
It's a fucking nightmare. Most of the families have had to return their adopted children to their rightful biological families.
Oh,
we are one of the few, quote, lucky ones that have not been able to locate our son's bio family. Selfishly, we are thankful. At the same time, incredibly sad that we'll never know our son's true story.
Oh, that sucks.
Can you believe that shit? I mean, I can believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the point. We hear all the time how a faith-based organization does so much better work than we can't trust a non-faith-based organization
right
to do this because where's their moral center?
Right.
But look at what's
Well, but their moral center was probably something along the lines of, well, it doesn't matter because these kids will have better lives with Christian parents in the United States.
We're getting these kids out of those nightmare biological homes in Africa
that aren't either our brand of Christian or
we're
whatever.
Saving these children from whatever.
Oh God, that's tragic. That really made me sad.
Yeah. Not that's not very nice. Hey, make us happier. Do we have anybody that we need to thank this week?
Yeah.
Nope. You're going to perk right up now. I'm going to insist upon it.
I'm going to be thinking about that all day. All right. We have a new venerable listener. We learned something about venerable state of being venerable.
Yeah. Does that mean that they have a miracle? I think this person has a miracle.
No. What was it?
Just shut up and say they have a miracle. We don't need to know that.
Dad. I will call a spade a spade. This is a person of heroic virtue.
Okay. That's true.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That is not bad, Dan. Susie.
Hooray.
So thank you very much, Susie. And
we have one more person to thank. And I wasn't here.
You weren't here for the handoff.
For the big reveal.
Yeah, because we have a new Lord and Savior around these parts.
I couldn't believe it. I may have been worshiping the wrong person for a week.
Well, all it takes is money, Dan.
Right.
This is our top donor.
Our big cheese.
And she goes by the name of, and I feel like I might have done her name little
badly last time.
Little badly. Didn't do it justice.
Drum roll.
Jenny.
Thanks, Don Pardo. It was good. It was a Don Pardo sort of thing. Jenny is our top donor, our Lord and Savior. Yeah. Forever may she wave. May she rest in peace.
No, she's in the name alive and well.
In the name of the mother and the daughter and all of the little chillins. Amen.
Amen. All right, Dan,
Yes.
I got something for you.
Whew. I'm ready.
This has to do with a man on a mission. Right? Not so much. He's Mormon, but it's not a Mormon mission.
Not in the way we traditionally think about it.
He is. His name is Sam Young, and he's become something of a little bit of a hero for a lot of people in the LDS Church these days. He is a former bishop. He lives down in Houston, Texas, and he has been working on the issue of these worthiness interviews that youth and adults have to go through, but specifically he's looking at the youth ones, because here you have this young person sitting in a room with an adult man, and they're being asked questions about their, in Mormon terms, morality. Right, which is their
which in Mormon terms means sex.
Sex.
That's all that means.
That's all it is.
Are you morally clean? Well, I've been ethical in my dealing. No. Just tell us about what you've stuck your penis into.
Oh, that's what you want to know.
That's all morally clean means in Mormon speak.
Right, and so his own daughters were subjected to these interviews, and he and they have spoken up now about how rough they were,
how uncomfortable it made them, and
a little shaming.
Yeah,
right. And not a little shaming, quite a lot shaming.
And it can be worse. It can be a lot worse than just uncomfortable. It can be. Some of these bishops, because they're just lay people, and they're humans,
right.
And we know that even well-trained priests in the Catholic Church are gross.
Right.
Some of these bishops really abuse this thing.
Yeah.
And they ask them pointed questions. They clearly start fantasizing. Like there's so
some
many
creeper stories.
So many reports of disgusting
creeper
behavior on the parts of these bishops conducting these interviews.
Yeah. Well, he's been drawing attention to this issue, and his efforts actually back earlier this year did get the LDS Church to not change too much of the policy, but to allow now for children to bring an adult, preferably a parent, but they can bring somebody along with them who can be in the room while they're being subjected to this questioning,
which is so great because who doesn't want to have their dad or their mom with them,
right,
while they're being asked probing personal questions about their sex life?
Yes,
that makes me more comfortable for sure.
Yes, of course. I mean, a lot of this, all it does is teach shame about sexuality. So let's walk our way through this.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say that the kid is open about their sexual activity,
and let's call them 15 years old.
15 years old. But the bishop asks them a question. They answer honestly. Maybe it's masturbation. Maybe they fooled around, touched another young person in an inappropriate way.
Right. In a way that is very natural for a 15-year-old person to do.
Right. Exactly. Well, now the bishop has the opportunity to make sure they understand how wrong their actions are, give them little pamphlets for the strength of youth, maybe. And
what's the one that tells you about your little factory?
Oh, I can't remember.
We got one when we were growing up. Like, if you're masturbating, it was this whole thing about like your downstairs region is your little factory,
right?
And somehow I don't remember how the logic went because it was so bizarre. Like, if you masturbate, then you're overworking your factory, and then maybe gears break. I don't remember.
Well,
what was.
Yeah, the workers go on strike.
That was not my experience.
Clearly not. No. So then the bishop would be given the opportunity to properly shame them,
right,
and whatnot.
Correct.
But let's say that we have the other scenario, which is probably far more common, and the kid knows that the correct answers to all these questions are to just lie about them.
Right.
To say, no, I'm not having any problems. No, I've never masturbated, and this, that, and the other.
And
right?
no, I don't lie.
And no, I don't lie. All the while feeling their conscience, because they are lying, kind of sink in around them, right?
Yeah.
And the Holy Ghost, they feel the Holy Ghost flee the room. The Holy Ghost will know. And so now we have perhaps even a better outcome for the LDS Church, which is they have this internalized, deep-rooted shame and weirdness about their own sexuality.
And guilt.
And guilt.
And here's the other great thing. If a 16-year-old young boy comes to me as a bishop and says, no, I'm not masturbating, no, I'm not doing any of this stuff,
you can just look him in the eye and say, liar.
I will. You can stare them down and make sure that they know you know. Because you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yep.
And then they're like, and then you've got them.
Yeah.
Your hooks are in.
Yeah. So this is really effective control. These are control mechanisms that the LDS Church has over their population, and it's good to get those
churches employ. Like, let's be honest.
But most of them don't have this interview thing.
Right.
Most of them are a little more. They tell you what you're supposed to be doing. They tell you what you're not supposed to be doing, and then it's really kind of up to you. You know, unless you get somehow like in some real trouble. But then what are they really going to do?
Right.
In Mormon world, they've got a lot of little things they can do.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of different ways to shame you.
Yeah.
Lots of different ways to the shame is interesting, right? Because the bishop might tell you to not take the sacrament for a couple weeks.
Sure.
Now there's like this little public thing where you like have to like, okay, you didn't tell anybody what you did. The bishop didn't tell anybody what you did.
But everybody knows you did
everybody
something.
knows your parent. You're seated next to your parents. They know you did something, right?
Yeah.
But what you're sitting there with is, holy shit! I'm so unworthy. I'm so unworthy. I'm so unworthy.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before. Like the whole gig of religion, the thing that keeps you coming back is you're broken, and I'm the person who can offer you salvation from your own sinful nature.
Right.
And so the more you can just slam it home that you're sinful,
right?
You don't even have to admit it. You just know it. And they have great ways of making sure that you feel it.
Right. So Sam Young is working to, he's not happy with this one little concession that the LDS Church made, that the higher-ups made, with letting, an adult come in with you. He sees through that. He knows that kids are still going to go in alone. That ultimately the culture of the thing is that you go into the bishop alone, and the exception is bringing an adult along with you. So therefore, not to buck the system too much, the kids are still just going in alone.
Right.
And that is obviously not a good solution.
Right.
So he is actually here in Salt Lake at the moment, and he is staging a hunger strike for 3 weeks.
Wow.
He's also set up a series of he's calling them Templeside chats, because he's over in this park downtown that's kitty corner from the church office building.
Right.
So he's on public land. So he's perfectly fine to be there.
Right.
And that's where he's hanging out during his hunger strike during the day. And then in the evening, they have a schedule of meetings with apostles from the LDS Church. They are all they're calling them the Fireside Chat with an Apostle. They begin every night, starting July 29th. So a few have already happened, and they're going all the way through August 12th.
Now, to be clear,
they start at 7 p.m. on the sidewalks of South Temple Street. And let's see, on South Temple. And let's see. So Elder Suarez was on July 29th. He failed to show up, I guess. July 30th, Elder Gong. He also, I guess, didn't show up.
These are not
July
things
31st.
that they schedule that the apostles have agreed to.
No.
They've just scheduled, hey, we're inviting this person to meet us at this time.
Right.
Surely they'll come and talk to me to discuss this.
Right.
He knows they're not going to show up.
Well, right. The church this week actually issued a public statement about him and his efforts and essentially said, we don't need to meet with him.
No.
And so he's just for 15 days, he's publicly shaming them on their refusal to speak with a member who is leading a movement within their ranks.
A member in good standing.
In good standing.
This is not some fringe dude. This is just a guy who sees that they're doing something horrific. Here's what's really funny about this. It's not like he's saying, oh, the idea that kids, touching themselves is bad. He's not decrying that.
Right.
He just doesn't want the bishop's interviews.
Right.
So, like, all of the shitty ideas about sex, all of the terrible, terrible ways that Mormons think about sex, and many religious organizations think about sex, he's on board with all of that.
Ostensibly.
Yeah. He just wants the pervy interviews to stop.
Well, the pervy interviews would shift the culture, and he's right about that.
Yeah.
Because as you have with a generation of people growing up who weren't subjected to that level of shame about sex, those people would ultimately probably raise their kids a little differently, no matter what the church is saying.
Well,
right?
It also chips
they would
away
have different conversations with their kids.
Sure.
Right.
And
it leaves this in the hands of the parents 100%, which is where it should be. You can go to church. Lots of people go to church, to whatever church they go to, right?
Yeah.
And hear negative messaging about human sexuality.
Right.
Right. Those people are not necessarily as fucked up about sex as at the same numbers, at the same rates as Mormons tend to be.
Right.
Mormons tend to be a little screwy about sex.
Oh, so screwy about sex.
Right.
To the point where, like, talk to an ex-Mormon about their sex life now that they're out of the church. Mm-hmm. It stays with you. Like, it's not you. I'm still pulling tendrils of this repressed fucking ideology out of my own brain.
Right, exactly.
Because it fucks you up.
Absolutely.
It is unhealthy. It's not safe.
Right.
It's a terrible, terrible way to train your children.
Right.
So all this guy's doing is maybe saving some kids from some very disgusting pervy moments, and also maybe chipping away just a little bit at the authority of the brethren,
absolutely,
who sit over you.
Well, and it's clear that they know that he's chipping away at their authority because they're refusing to meet with him.
Right. They're refusing to talk. Well, I think I read something where they said, he was able to talk to his bishop and even his stake president. Like, the chain of command was there for him.
Right.
As if his local bishop would be able to, like, make the universal sort of global change that he wants.
That needs to happen.
Yeah. We listened to him. We sent that one guy. All right. Well, if you ladies and gentlemen at home have anything you'd like to add to this discussion, I'm trying to squish it together.
It's almost there.
It's close.
Yeah.
Or if you want to doctor my pun, you can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on that like button.
And while you're there, why not search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge or request to join? It is a closed group. but it's moderated. It's and so the conversation stays nice and civil.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to put a plug in for the community over on Reddit.
Yep.
That's the subreddit's name is TGI Atheist.
Yeah. Go be a part of that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Join the communities, y'all. And speaking of the communities, thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of her hard work on the Facebook page. Thanks to Sarah, Amy, and Danny for their work in the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the providers of music for the show.
Indeed.
The Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston.
And thank you, fine friends and listeners, for tuning in to us.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.